For a lot of people, sales scripts feel like a safety net. It's something you can hold on to when you're not quite confident enough about what to say. And companies are happy to provide them because, honestly, they don't trust that you do know what to say on your own. I'm going to show you why using a script might just be setting you up to lose the sale. And we'll talk about what to do instead, today on Don't Just Sell. Most sales podcasts give you more tactics. This one proves you don't need them. I'm Rebecca Kilday, and this is Don't Just Sell, the podcast where your sales career gets easier when you quit selling like you've been trained and start selling like yourself. I never used a script in my sales job where I was a rep for 15 years. And even when I was a part of the training team for that company, we did not teach scripts. Instead, we taught a process and role-played different scenarios with our new hires. But we never taught specific things to say. So when I went to my next sales position at another company, I was surprised when they handed me a pack of scripts the first day of training. Part of our whole first day in that sales training was to spend time memorizing these scripts. There were specific phrases at points in that sales process that they really wanted to be word perfect. So I paced up and down the hallway of this hotel trying to memorize these phrases. And it wasn't a lot of text, just 2 or 3 sentences. But they did want them to be word for word correct when we did role plays later on in the training. So I prepared as best I could, and when the time came, and I knew I was coming to those sentences that I was supposed to say, I flubbed it. I could not get it right. I could feel myself get nervous and tense as I got closer to needing to recite the memorized lines. And this showed me what I already knew. Reciting a script would never be for me. So after that training, I went back to my territory, was doing my sales job, and I'm a rule follower. So I would recite those scripted 3 sentences the way I was supposed to in every sales conversation I had. And I was having some success, but not anything to be super proud of. Till finally one day, I sat down and I looked at these 3 sentences. Now I understood what they were trying to communicate, so I sat down and I rewrote them the way I would say those 3 sentences. The very next day, I had 5 meetings lined up, and I used my new, more authentic script. I made 4 out of 5 sales that day. And I have to think that it's because I felt more comfortable with the way the words were just coming out of my mouth. I was able to be more myself in those meetings. So I took that experience, and it actually became a part of the training I do when people hire me to work with their sales teams today. We take their corporate scripts, and each person in the training spends time just rewriting the script in their own words. That exercise highlights the number one problem with scripts, and that is that they feel inauthentic. People can tell when you're reciting words you did not come up with on your own. And that's a problem because we know people buy from people they trust. Buyers need to think that you really care about the solution you're presenting. And they want to think you're on board with your product, that you really believe it's the right solution for them. So when they detect that you're reciting a script, it feels like you're faking it. And this trust bubble that you've built bursts. Another problem with reciting a rehearsed script is that it takes you out of the moment with your prospect. I guarantee you're missing important pieces of information because you're too busy thinking about what to say next. This reminds me of an argument I had with my dad when I was a teenager. I can't remember exactly what we were arguing about, but I do have a specific memory of standing in the hallway and giving this impassioned speech, just bearing my heart out about whatever this issue was. And I stopped and waited for his rebuttal to hear what he was going to say, and there was silence. And I said, "Dad, did you hear what I just said?" And he smiled and he goes, "Nope, sorry. I was too busy thinking about what I was going to say next." And this broke the tension, and I just really appreciate that moment of authenticity from him, but it highlights the idea that when we're too busy thinking about what we're going to say next, a lot of times you tune out to what the person you're talking to is even saying. I recently worked with a Pilates studio that's part of a franchise. And that franchise provides scripts to the front desk staff to follow as they're signing up clients for memberships. I know the idea is that these scripts are supposed to be a guide and helpful to the people working. But what I've found is that it made those people really nervous. They were so focused on reciting the scripts correctly that they were missing out on membership opportunities. They simply weren't paying as much attention to the client as they should. So we did the exercise where we rewrote the scripts in their own words. And that means it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. And that's okay. By the end of the exercise, everyone had their own way to get across the same message that corporate wanted to communicate. As a result, they were able to sign up more members that month versus the same month the last year. And this is a big deal in the fitness industry because they really need to capitalize on people trying a class for the first time. And this training helped them do just that. Before I share what I do instead, I know you might not feel ready to ditch your script. But if you're interested in rewriting it in your own voice, this is exactly what I help clients with in my one-to-one coaching program. Use the link in the show notes to reach out about training with me. The main thing I would encourage you to do is to take any lines of your script that make you feel anxious or inauthentic and spend some time rewriting them in your own words. Think, how would you communicate the same idea? Let that be what you say in your sales conversations. When you do this, your brain relaxes, and it gives you the opportunity to listen better when your prospect is talking. Focus more on listening than you do on saying the right words. The other thing I would encourage you to do is, instead of worrying about following your scripts word for word, pay more attention to where you are in your own sales process. You're guiding your prospect toward making a decision, so instead of worrying about exactly what words you're saying, think, where am I in this process with this prospect? Have I learned enough about their needs? Do I know enough about my product? Am I knowledgeable enough about this niche? Where in my process do I need to grow? If you focus on those things, the right words will come. And finally, I don't want to bring AI into it, but I fear I have to. More and more, our daily interactions are being curated by algorithms. We're reading email correspondence, clicking on ads, and commenting on blogs that have likely all been generated by AI. Knowing this, why would you allow yourself to sound like everyone else? And why encourage your sales team to sound robotic? You know what AI can't do? It can't notice a change in someone's posture. It can't decipher the meaning behind a change in the tone of voice. Sure, AI can simulate certain aspects of empathy and resilience, but it can't actually feel them. Break free from the scripts. Embrace the imperfection of your delivery. It's what makes you human. And that's what we need to set ourselves apart from people who just sell and someone who sells inspired.